This is Tom Dalzell, the business manager of Local 1245. On Thursday, March 20th, we brought our PG&E negotiating committee into the hall for the first time to start going over proposals. At that meeting, I suggested to the committee that we ask PG&E to extend our contract for a year. After some discussion, the committee unanimously agreed. I asked the company to extend, and on Monday, March 20th, the company agreed to a one-year extension. I'm speaking to you today to explain why I recommended that one-year extension, why the committee agreed to it, and why I think it's a good idea for you. With negotiations, timing is everything. Let me give you a few examples from past negotiations. In 2008, we reached tentative agreement on a wage increase in September. 2 months later, the bottom fell out of the economy. 3 months later, the company's business transformation software completely failed. If we had not nailed down those wage increases when we did, we would have been out of luck. We would not have gotten the results that we got. In 2011 negotiations, timing worked in a different way. In the fall of 2011, when we were in negotiations, the company had no CEO. Peter Darby had resigned. Lee Cox from the board of directors was the acting or interim CEO. But there really was nobody in charge of the company. And there was nobody running the gas business yet either. And this was all in the wake of San Bruno. In those negotiations, we suffered from the lack of strong leadership coming from the CEO and a gas vice president. And the results were a package that 80% of our members rejected. 2012, we had a CEO, we had a gas vice president, we had some stability, and we were able to work through the problems. But the timing was important there. And the timing is very important now. Frankly, I can't imagine a worse time to go into negotiations with PG&E than right now. For 3.5 years, they've been facing regulatory, civil, and now criminal problems resulting from San Bruno. The fine has yet to be imposed by the Public Utility Commission, but when it is, it'll be between $2 and $4 billion. All of that means that the company's focus is understandably going to be on the fines, regulatory matters, and criminal matters. Their focus will not be on collective bargaining. Already, the uncertainty that has come out of this long delay in regulatory fines has hurt the company. Rating agencies have downgraded the company. Stock prices down. If we were to extend the contract, as we're asking you to do, we have a means for addressing many of the issues that you have raised over the last month and in bargaining proposals which came to unit meetings and on our website. We can handle many of these issues in interim or ad hoc negotiations where we address only a department or classifications issues at one time. And we have found that this is a much more productive way to do things than in general negotiations. We had success last year on a number of gas issues and on hydro. We are continuing to work on shared services and electric and clerical. But when we take these issues away from general negotiations into ad hoc or interim negotiations that involve only the people directly affected by those issues, we have much better results. So if we were to ratify the one-year extension, we would continue the path that we have chosen, which is these ad hoc or interim negotiations. If we were to extend the agreement for a year, you would receive a 2.75% wage increase on January 1st. Inflation for the last 12 months has run at 1.1%. So obviously that 2.75% is almost certain to beat inflation. Over the last 12 years, we have beaten inflation every single year. For example, In 2002, a lineman made $30 an hour. If that lineman wage had only gone up with the rate of inflation, the lineman would today be making $36 an hour, and we know that they're making $51 an hour. The increase, the interim negotiations, all give us breathing room for the company to get through the difficulties associated with San Bruno and the fine. There's one issue that we would have to negotiate, and that is compliance with the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, but that only affects retirees who are working through the hiring hall and other hiring hall employees. It does not affect, would not affect, regular full-time employees. So, to sum it up, it is a terrible time to negotiate. Timing is important. The company's focus is going to be on regulatory, civil, and criminal matters arising from San Bruno, not on collective bargaining. We have a decent wage increase as part of this package, and we have the ability to continue negotiating in ad hoc or interim negotiations, department by department, classification by classification, sending those agreements out to just the department or just the classification for ratification. Given all of that, I think that extension is by far the best outcome that can be achieved. No matter what, please vote. Ballots will be mailed out on April 18th. They will be due back in and counted on May 16th. I urge you to vote. I urge you to read about this. I urge you to attend unit meetings. If you have questions, email me. I urge you to vote, and I urge you to vote yes on the extension.